Hello and thanks for joining me. As you can see, I'm in the workshop today and I've got my KTM EXC450 up on the workbench and I'm about to do an oil change, so I thought I might as well video the process in case that is useful to anybody. If you ride one of these bikes, changing the oil is something you have to do quite frequently, and I end up changing mine every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks maximum when I'm riding a lot over the summer. So it's a job which you get used to doing, and thankfully it's a fairly straightforward and easy job. But the first thing you need to do always in the workshop is make yourself a cup of tea. So first job is get a brew on the go, and then we can concentrate on what we're doing. First thing you need to do is remove the sump guard here, and as you can see on mine I've still got the plastic sump guard that came with the factory version. Mine's the 6-day special edition. It comes with this sump guard, and I've never felt the need to change it. It's extremely robust, it's lightweight, so you know, why change it if it does the job? But it's just held on with a couple of bolts at the front here, and then you can unclip it, swing it down and unclip it. So fairly quick and easy job to get it off. Removing it, just swing it down and it's clipped onto the frame at the back, so it just clips off like that. So shove that out of the way there. I've then got my oil container for catching the oil. Right, to get the camera in close here, so I hope you can see. You can see there's two plugs here. So this rear one is the engine drain plug, so I'm going to remove that one first. That's the drain plug, and that's got a little magnet on it. And then the front one is for one of the oil screens. There's two oil screens, the other one is just here. So I'll undo the drain plug first, then I'll remove this screen, then I'll remove that screen there. And these are 13mm sockets here. And that's the drain plug out, and you can possibly see, if I can get the camera to focus on it, yeah, there is the little magnet there on the drain plug. Okay. Let it focus back on the job at hand. Unfortunately, when it drains out you get a bit of oil running over the frame there, but you can just wipe it off once it's done. Right, so that's the oil draining out nicely. So now remove this first of these screen filters. There you can see that's the long screen filter there. So I'll give that a real good clean before I put it back in again. Just got a bit of workshop tissue. Yeah, that'll pop it on. The lid, actually, that's the lid. The lid disconnects from the filter, so you can take the filter off and clean that separately. So that's the filter there, which I'll give it a real good clean of. Because I change the oil regularly on this, actually, you know, that none of it gets too bad, too dirty or anything. But it's good to give them a good clean, because that's what it's there for, to filter the oil, so you want it to be nice and clean and clear. Okay, I've zoomed right in, so hopefully you can see the second screen filter, which is just here, just behind the others, and that slopes downwards at 45 degrees to the back, and that's also a 13mm socket. So take that one out, and then that's all the screen filters out and gives the chance the oil from the bottom of the engine to drain out of all three holes. You see there's quite a lot more oil comes out of that one when I take it out. Okay, so I've zoomed back out again, but here's the short filter. That's the one that came out from underneath there, and if I compare it to the long filter, you can see that it's only about a third of the length of the long filter, so there's no confusing the two. So again, I'll give that a good clean, and then looks like most of the oil's drained out already anyway, so then I'll refit them all. Okay, so clean the screens, clean the magnet off the drain plug, so trying to put them all back in again. So that's the short one, goes back in there. There's a little rubber O-ring seals that, and so always just check the oil ring, the O-ring, that looks fine, so it doesn't need replacing. So just tighten that one in. I'll torque it down in a sec. Here's the drain plug. The drain plug actually has a little copper washer on it, but again, I've had no problems reusing that several times. You can always anneal it, but I've had no problems reusing that. Torque that down in a sec. And then the long oil screen. Now there's different ways you do it. You can either push the oil screen back in like that and it sort of wedges in place at the back, and then put the cap on, which I find is the easiest way, or you can sort of reinsert it into the cap and then try and get it all in one place. But you need to make sure that it engages properly at the back, which it just has done there. So again, just tighten that down, screw that down. Okay, so now I'll torque all those down. The two oil screens torque down to 15 Newton meters and the oil filler cap to 20 Newton meters. So I don't know if you can see on the screen, I've got my small torque wrench here. I find that for jobs like this with fairly small, light torque settings, it's better to have a lighter weight, smaller torque wrench rather than trying to do it with a big one, which is probably not calibrated down to such small. And so that's set at 15 Newton meters now. So that's for the two oil screens. You can see that's not very tight at all. So obviously you can do it by hand, but you'd be amazed how light 15 Newton meters is. It's not much at all. Then set it to 20 for the drain plug, and again, that's not much. So that's all done. So now to change the paper filter. So the paper filter goes in this housing here, which is at the front of the engine, just in front of the stator here, and just below where the liquid cooling pipe comes down from the radiator. These are 8mm, two of them, top and the bottom one, that hold it on. And then that cap just pulls off. And then the easiest way to get the paper filter out is I use internal circlip plier and put it in there and pull it out. So here's my internal circlip plier. You can just get it into that little recess there and then wiggle it out. It's not difficult to pull out, but there's just a little rubber seal on that end that pushes on, so you've got to get it past that rubber seal there. So time for a new paper filter. I can't remember how much these are because I change it so often. I buy them about a dozen at a time online. I'll smith for a while, so I'll just get that one out. So here's the filter. So I push it on. You just have to make sure that it pushes in and that rubber seal engages the other end there, and then you can put the cap back on. And put these two 8mm screws back in. Now I will tighten these with the torque wrench, seeing as I've got it here, but these are only 10 Newton meters, which, believe me, is hardly anything at all. So you've got to be very careful not to over tighten those. So, just wipe round. That's all ready. Just need to put some oil in now. So I just brought you around the other side, show you the process of filling it up, but here's the oil filler cap here. There's a little sighting glass down here where you can check the oil level. But But of course, one thing that you've got to do is when you refill it is run the engine a little bit to circulate round, particularly round by the oil filter, and then recheck the level again. So this is the engine oil that I use, which is actually the oil that's recommended by KTM. So it's the Motorex Cross Power 10W50. I always use this, and I use a measuring jug. I just find it's easier to know how much you're putting in, and you actually see I've got it's 1.2 litres. I've got a mark on the measuring jug because I use this so often, 1.2 litres. So I fill it up to 1.2 litres, top it up in the engine, then I check it. There's just enough left. Well, that's 1.2 litres, so I've just got a little bit left in there. Just enough left in that can of oil, so it looks like I need some more ready for my next fill up. Okay, let's have a look in the sighting glass. So that's looking good, but what I need to do is just run the engine. So I'll run the engine a second. Just going to open the workshop door so I don't gas myself, and then I'll check it again. So pop the cap back in and I'll start the engine. Just run that for a minute. Right, I've just run the engine, and if you can see there in the sighting glass, but the oil level is just about 2/3 of the way up the sighting glass. Maybe I don't know if the light's shining on that, you can't see. It's about 2/3 of the way up the sighting glass, which looks just about right to me. So that's great. So I'm going to put the sump guard back on and the job's done. Right, they're all good on tight. So that's the job done, oil changed, in less time than it took me to finish my cup of tea. Still warm. So yeah, very quick and easy job. Hope you found that useful, helpful if you've never done that job before. Okay, see you next time. Bye.